welcome back to week 3 of AMA Friday with Amy Miller, Recruiting in Yoga Pants. I'm freezing, so let's try to make this a quick one. It is so cold. Do you see the snow coming down outside of my house? I'm about 45 minutes north of Seattle-ish, and it's snowing this week. It hasn't stopped. I can't leave my house. My kids are out of school. Please send help, preferably in the form of Pinot Grigio, because the Miller family is losing it. Okay, let's get to your questions. So this will be a bit of a continuation of what we talked about last week. So last week we talked about what is it a recruiter actually does anyway. We get paid to stalk people online. I'm only partially kidding. We'll talk about that another time. So here's the thing. No, I talked about this last week. We find people for jobs, not jobs for people. And that's a tough one. People don't love that. I definitely got some pushback and some people were less than happy with that perception. But I promised you guys transparency and truth. So here we are being really transparent and really honest, even when you don't want to hear it. Here's the deal. One of the commenters, and I so appreciate the comments and the feedback and the emails and the tweets and the LinkedIn requests and everything that you guys send. But one of the comments last week from Praveen, so Praveen, if you're watching, hi. Thanks so much for weighing in. Praveen shared that he had applied to a bunch of roles and he'd been applying. He'd applied to all the FAANG companies, so Facebook, Apple, Amazon, Netflix, Google. We gotta get Microsoft in there. Microsoft's freaking awesome. I loved my time at Microsoft for what it's worth. But anyway, he's applying to all these FAANG companies and not getting a response, which is an all too common scenario. I hear it all the time. And if I'm frustrated about it, I can only imagine how frustrated you as a job seeker are. So I am not making excuses by any means. Believe me, I get it. It's annoying. And I wish I could give you a specific, well, here's why that happened, but I just don't know. I don't have enough context to understand or to even try to make a guess as to why this particular job seeker isn't getting called. But, you know, the reality is he didn't get calls and it's frustrating. So here's the thing. Praveen took his matters into his own hands, which I love and highly recommend, and got his resume in front of a hiring authority, got his resume directly in front of a manager, and that manager's like, hey, this looks great. Yes, I want to interview you. So that's how Praveen got an interview. Okay, so here's the thing. I'm not suggesting don't apply online because I've said all along, please apply, get your info in the system. We want to be able to find you. I mean, all of those things still stand. I'm not walking back any advice I've given you so far. However, I am going to give you step 2 in Operation Get Me a Job. Okay, step 1, we're optimizing our resume, we're putting the right keywords on it, we're thinking about the basic qualifications, the roles, the responsibility of the role, we're making sure that that story is effectively being told in our resume, LinkedIn profile, etc. We are then applying online because we know it's important for my information to be findable. It's important for me to be in the system. It's important for a recruiter to take action or be able to take action on my application if and when the time comes. So that's done. Now we're moving to step 2, okay? And step 2, contrary to what you might think, is not go connect with every recruiter I can find on LinkedIn. Not a good idea. It is an exercise in futility and you're going to be really annoyed by the time it's all over with. I want you to connect with 3 kinds of people, okay? That can be LinkedIn, that can be through any social network, that can be wherever it is you hang out, want to find people, feel comfortable, whatever it is. So it doesn't have to be LinkedIn, although reality is that's kind of the biggest business networking game in town. So fine, we'll use it until something better comes along. So 3 kinds of people I want you to talk to. 1, recruiters who work on the roles that you are qualified for. the roles that you want to apply to, the roles that you meet the basic qualifications of. Now you're probably scratching your head and going, well, great, Amy, the job description doesn't list a name. I don't know who that recruiter is. I know, where would the fun in that be, right? Like, how easy would it be if you had a contact? Being a little facetious, it would be really nice if we could do that, but it's just not the way the system is set up. However, what you can do, search for recruiters at the companies you want to apply to or have applied to, and then find the recruiters that are working on the things that you want to work on. I've talked about this in other videos where we're usually pretty good about listing, obviously, who our employer is, the kind of roles that we're looking to fill, the kind of people we want to engage with. So look for those, just like you're searching for jobs, search for recruiters in the same fashion. I want to work for, I don't know, AWS. So I'm going to go find a recruiter who hires for AWS at in Seattle, if that's where I want to be, or whatever the company might be. Maybe it's GCP or maybe it's Azure. I don't know why I'm picking on cloud, but probably because my brain's frozen. It's so cold outside. But you get the point, whatever the team or the role might be. So that's number one. You're going to find those recruiters and you're going to send them a connection request or an email or whatever and just say, I just want to make you aware of my candidacy. I've applied online. Here's a little bit about me. Here's what I'm interested in, whatever it might be. Done, check that box and move on. You may not get a response, and I get it. I've done 4 coaching sessions this week alone, and every single person I've talked to has said, yeah, I did that. One person emailed me back after our session and said, I took your advice. I emailed 5 recruiters in this office, not my current company, by the way, and nobody got back to me. I mean, that's just gutting. That's like heartbreaking. Like, I'm nauseous thinking about it. Like, I gave you this advice. I thought it'd be helpful, and nobody's getting back to you. So I get it. It's really annoying, but don't give up. There's a second person I want you to connect with. The person who is doing the job that you want to do. So think about this as the peer network, okay? You've tapped the recruiter network. Now we're working on the peer network, okay? The peer network are the interns that have the internship that you're applying to, the former interns maybe that just finished up with a company, the software engineer that's building the thing that you want to work on. So these are the people that are doing the job that you would also like to do. You're connecting with them as, again, just a simple, like, I want to include you in my network. I want to chat with you, get to know you, and I'd love your advice. I'd love to hear your story. How did you get to where you are? How did you, did you apply online? Was there another, did you have a secret handshake? Like, how did you get them to talk to you and invite you to interview? So you're just asking for, look, I'm just looking for some guidance and some ideas here. And that's it. And then the third person that I want you to contact is the person who's feeling the pain. Okay? I mean, look, I'm a recruiter. I love recruiters. My very best friends are recruiters. But I understand that sometimes we are not feeling the same level of pain of an open position that a hiring manager is. So the third person is the person that you could work for. Okay, this is the person that you could report to, the person that has the authority to take your pretty little resume and walk down to the recruiter's office and say, Amy, I just saw this person's resume. I had a 5-minute conversation with them. I like them. Bring them in for an interview. And you know what Amy's gonna do? She's gonna call your new friend and she's gonna get you in for an interview, okay? So if you are afraid to try this, if you think I'm crazy, or you just don't know how to craft those messages, I want you to send me an email, amy@recruitinginyogapants.com, and I want you to put networking in the subject line. You are going to get an auto response that's going to give you some specific steps and some specific insight, more instructions in the email to come. But if you would like to explore this further, or you want to call me on my nonsense and you don't believe me, let's play. amy@recruitinginyogapants.com, networking in the subject line so you get the right response. All right, until next time, I'm gonna go cuddle with my puppies and try not to freeze to death. See you guys in a week.